All right, we have a lot of news to break down and zero time to waste. As everybody is holding their breath waiting for Iran to retaliate, we are now getting reports that the Iranian military is gearing up. At the same time, Donald Trump just entirely contradicted JD Vance only hours apart. The absolute breakdown of communication in this administration is on display on a daily basis, and I'll show it to you all right now, but let's just start from the beginning. The New York Times is reporting that American military and intelligence officials have detected signs that Iran-backed militias are preparing to attack U.S. bases in Iraq and possibly Syria in retaliation for the U.S. strikes in Iran. So far, the groups have held off as Iraqi officials are working hard to dissuade militia action. But the most frustrating part about this all, there are a few frustrating parts, but it's the fact that it's all unnecessary. When Donald Trump pulled out of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the JCPOA, which Obama carefully negotiated as the Iran nuclear deal, what he did is dismantled years of diplomatic progress, removed strict oversight of Iran's nuclear activities, and set the stage for the current crisis. When the current crisis came around, Donald Trump acted indecisive and then escalated to a point where U.S. troops in the Middle East are now in danger. Trump unnecessarily and recklessly put U.S. troops in danger. That's exactly how. We then learned that after several Trump cabinet members stressed no interest in regime change, Donald Trump comes out and just contradicts them, directly contradicts them. It's disgusting, and there has been a breakdown of communication from day one. Not just a breakdown, but the Trump admin is intentionally blocking Democrats from knowing about the strikes before they happen. Donald Trump wasn't communicating with Pete Hegseth because he looks at him as like a personality on TV with zero experience. It's kind of true. And he also wasn't trusting Tulsi Gabbard. He was directly contradicting her. Now people are celebrating. MAGA is taking a victory lap after Hegseth managed not to leak plans to bomb Iran. Literally, MAGA personalities were saying, like Todd Starnes, not a single leak. Well done, Secretary of Defense. Like, what the AOC said, this is like applauding a grown man for being able to wipe their behind. Not exactly a vote of confidence. Dude, we've gone decades and decades and decades with zero leaks from the Secretary of Defense, and after multiple leaks in a row, we're now congratulating them. The bar is in hell. And really quickly, if you enjoy the breaking news, the no bullshit, concise breakdowns in your feed, make sure you subscribe to the Adam Mockler channel below to have these videos straight in your feed every single day. It would mean the world. We're building something solid here. So then Donald Trump sends out a series of tweets. He says, quote, "It's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? MIGA. Notice how quickly it changed from America first, if I were the president that never would have happened, to make Iran great again. And also, there is a war happening. I can't stop it. In fact, I'm going to escalate it to a point where U.S. troops are actively in danger." He then says the damage to the nuclear sites in Iran is said to be monumental. The hits were hard and accurate. Great skill was shown by our military. Thank you. Incredibly embarrassing because he's directly contradicting what JD Vance said only hours ago. And this is a key theme within the Trump administration, the repeated breakdown or intentional shuttering of communication between different agencies and Donald Trump basically consolidating power with a small group of advisors. And then he adds on to that with more and more confusion. So we do want regime change. How does Marjorie Taylor Greene feel about that? She hates it. How do most MAGA supporters feel about that? They should hate it. They should hate us trying to get into regime change because the thing is, has it ever worked out for us? The U.S. has repeatedly gone into the Middle East with optimism. Has it ever worked out for us? Watch J.D. Vance being contradicted by Donald Trump.
Our view has been very clear that we don't want a regime change. We do not want to protract this or build this out any more than it's already been built out. We want to end their nuclear program, and then we want to talk to the Iranians about a long-term settlement here. We believe very strongly that there are two pathways. There's a pathway where Iran continues to fund terrorism, continues to try to build a nuclear program, attacks American troops. That's the bad pathway for Iran. Iran, and it will be met with overwhelming force. There's another pathway on the table here. There's a pathway where Iran integrates itself into the international community, stops funding terrorism, and stops trying to pursue a nuclear weapon. This is a reset. This is an opportunity for the Iranians to take the smart path. We certainly hope that they will.
And wait for it, let me just show you the naked contradiction. Donald Trump said less than 12 hours later, quote, "It's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? MIGA. One more time, let me replay this.
Our view has been very clear that we don't want a regime change.
Our view has been very clear, except for the fact that we change our view, not only on war, but on a regime change within the Middle East in the course of 12 hours, not even. They claim to be the anti-war party or the anti-war administration when Biden is the one who pulled us out of Afghanistan, who made sure our troops were safe. And again, now we're unnecessarily putting troops in the Middle East in danger because Donald Trump couldn't help but use force or bluster over any sort of diplomacy. He doesn't know how to negotiate. It is all projection with this man because the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, Obama's deal, was completely fine. So it's just a dangerous lack of clarity, lack of communication at the highest levels of American leadership. And to continue this as the last of more than a dozen B-2 bombers that took part in the strikes against 3 Iranian nuclear sites have returned safely to Whiteman Air Force Base. The head of Judiciary of Iran said in a post on X that the United States, quote, must await severe punishment, adding that it had been complicit with Israel and now it is itself a perpetrator. A lot of people have been asking me if this is World War III or if they should be scared, and honestly, it's not World War III. It would not escalate to that point. Iran literally does not have nukes. They are losing some of their military capabilities. They will likely retaliate in the Middle East. So if you are watching this from the Middle East or from a base, US base in the Middle East, that's a different story, but you'll likely be doing training missions and getting ready to dip at a moment's notice. So if further escalation does happen, it won't get to World War III. I would say broadly, just always be alert when you're out in public. Even if this wouldn't have happened, just be alert when you're out in public in this day and age. It is a chaotic world, but don't live your life on edge of fear of World War III or anything seeping into your daily life. I mean, gas prices might go up, which is incredibly painful, but Iranian missiles aren't going to make it over the United States. Don't be worried about that. I've gotten a lot of emails of people asking. Tensions escalating in the Middle East is absolutely scary, but it's a thing that's happened repeatedly without the world plunging into World War III. So while yes, things are escalating objectively, to just spam World War III out into the internet on Twitter as like, it just seems like trolly. Like bots are doing that to try to stir up alarmism when we can all keep a cool head and just be aware of your daily life. So I'm going to leave it at that. I appreciate every single person who watches these videos on a day-to-day basis. I am eternally grateful for people who spend time with me, who listen to the reporting. It's been great. I absolutely love this, and we're about to build it to the next level. I am building a live stream studio in Chicago, in the beautiful city of Chicago, and summer just started 2 days ago. So we're not winding down. We are just ramping up. If you made it this far and you're excited about the ramping up, comment hi Adam, drop a like, double check to make sure you're subscribed. People keep getting unsubscribed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.